Have you ever felt angry without knowing why? Or bought an expensive item just because someone made you feel like you needed it? If so, you've probably been manipulated without even realizing it. And the most dangerous part is, you still think you're in control. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of your emotions to understand how you're being manipulated, and more importantly, how to take back control. Watch until the end, because this isn't just a lesson in emotions. It's the key to mastering your life. Part 1, Emotions, the door to manipulation. Have you ever wondered why you sometimes say things you shouldn't? Do things you later regret? And then beat yourself up? Or do you sometimes find yourself being led astray by others, only to later realize that you've been subtly manipulated? The truth is, most of us aren't as rational as we think we are. We act on emotion, and then use reason to justify our actions. And this vulnerability is where all manipulation begins. In our brains, there is a small but extremely powerful part called the amygdala, the control center of emotions. Whenever you are angry, scared, anxious or excited, the amygdala immediately flips the switch, triggering a series of biological reactions that make you act. But the scary thing is, the amygdala reacts much faster than the rational part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, which determines deep and logical thoughts. This means that emotions always come first, and reason comes later. When you are in a strong emotional state, you are no longer yourself, you are just a reaction. And manipulators know this better than anyone. Imagine you're working hard, and then your boss criticizes you publicly in front of your colleagues. Anger flares. Your heart races. Your face heats up. That's the amygdala taking over. Before your rational mind can step in and calm you down, you've already exploded. You might argue back. You might cry. Or you might walk out of the meeting. And what's the result? The manipulator has achieved his goal, to make you lose control, damaging your credibility and confidence. Emotions, if left unchecked, are chains that bind you to someone else. And what's scarier is that manipulators don't need force or reason, they just know how to make you feel guilty, scared, or longing for something. A cold glare, a long silence, or a seemingly harmless remark like "you're too sensitive," all are sharp emotional weapons. Manipulators know how to make you feel confused about yourself. They push you into apologizing for things that don't matter. They make you change your behavior to please them. And then slowly, you lose yourself without realizing it. The thing is, manipulation doesn't just exist in toxic relationships. It's everywhere, in the home, where parents can unconsciously manipulate their children through guilt. In the workplace, where co-workers exploit your kindness to push you to do more. And on social media, where influencers make you feel like your life is lacking if you don't buy the product they're promoting. What do all of these cases have in common? Your emotions are being manipulated without you even realizing it. You feel guilty. You feel like you need to change. You feel like you're not good enough. And while you're trying to please the other person, they, the manipulators, are silently running the show. But if you think realizing you're being manipulated is enough, you're not. Realizing is only the first step. The next, and more important, step is learning to control your emotions, because if you don't control your emotions, someone else will. To avoid being manipulated by others, you need to master yourself first. And the first thing you must master is your emotions. Not by suppressing them, denying them, or pretending to be strong, but by understanding them, talking about them, and regaining control. So how do we control our emotions when we are born with them? The next section will take you on a journey of inner mastery, where your emotions no longer control you, but become tools for you to control your life. Part 2, The Art of Mastering Emotions, what wise people practice every day. Controlling emotions does not mean suppressing them. Nor does it mean forcing yourself to cheer up or stop being angry. That is a common illusion for many people. A person who truly controls emotions is not someone who is always calm. but someone who understands when they are fluctuating, why they are fluctuating, and chooses the best response instead of reacting on instinct. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own and others' emotions. It's not an inborn skill, but something you can exercise every day, like a muscle. And the first step is to observe your emotions, honestly and without judgment. When you're angry, don't try to pretend you're not. Stop and name them. I'm angry. That simple act activates the rational part of your brain. Because when you can name your emotions, you're no longer completely controlled by them. You've stepped out of the loop and seen them from the outside. Next, ask yourself, why am I angry? Where do I feel threatened? What is unfulfilled? Behind anger is often fear. Behind sadness is often loss. The deeper you go, the more you get to the root. And when the root is seen, it begins to fade away. It's like shining a flashlight into the darkness no longer frightens you. Equally important is practicing pausing before reacting. There is a gap between emotion and action. A good emotional controller recognizes that gap, and chooses to respond with intention rather than reflex. When you are offended, you can stay silent rather than respond. When you are criticized, you can listen rather than get defensive. The moment you stop acting on your impulse is the moment you are in control. And you know what's interesting? Emotions are like waves. They come, they rise, and then they go away if you don't fight them. An average anger episode only lasts 90 seconds. Unless you keep feeding it with thoughts. So if you can stay with your emotions for a minute and a half, breathing deeply and not reacting, you've weathered the storm. In today's world of temptation and conflict, controlling your emotions is not just about maintaining inner peace. It is also a weapon to protect you from being manipulated, led, or trapped by people who know how to play mind games. Because when you control yourself, it will be very difficult for others to control you. Part 3: What manipulators want from you, and how to make them lose power. You see, manipulators aren't always the evil, devious people they seem to be in the movies. Sometimes they're family members, lovers, bosses, friends, people you once trusted. And that's what makes manipulation so dangerous. It doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from people you don't expect. But to avoid being manipulated, you need to understand one thing very clearly: manipulators do not manipulate you because you are weak, but because you have something they need. It could be love, obedience, money, fame, or simply control to feel important. They manipulate you not because you are not smart enough, but because you have emotions, and they know how to bend them to serve their own goals. They will make you doubt yourself. They will make you feel like if you don't do this, you're a bad person. They know how to give conditional compliments. Like, you're doing great. If only you could always be like this. They make you feel like you're always not enough. Always needing to prove yourself. Always needing to change, but every time you change, they set a new standard. Further, higher, harder to reach. That's how the manipulation game works. You keep chasing approval that never comes. There is a very common manipulation technique that you should know about, which is gaslighting, psychological manipulation to make you doubt your own perception. They will deny what you see, what you hear, even the feelings you are having. When you say you feel sad about the way they treat you, they will say, I am just being too sensitive. Gradually, you start to wonder, am I really wrong? Am I just too weak? And when you lose confidence in yourself, you become the perfect puppet in their hands. So how do you get out of this invisible trap? How do you regain control? First, you need to restore your boundaries, not just in your actions, but in your mind. You have to believe that your feelings are valid. Sadness is real. Frustration is real. You don't need to apologize for feeling that way. When you start standing up for yourself emotionally, you send a powerful signal that says, I'm not going to bend. Next, don't react the way they expect. Manipulators live off your reactions. If you lose your temper, they win. If you apologize unconsciously, they win. But if you stay calm, don't justify, don't blame yourself, don't chase approval, you're taking away their most powerful weapon, control over your emotions. Here's the thing, don't try to change a manipulator. You can't make them love you the way you want to by making more sacrifices. The only thing you can do is protect yourself. Withdraw from toxic interactions. Keep mental and emotional distance. And above all, rebuild your self-confidence, because when you believe in your own worth, you don't need validation from anyone else. You may feel guilty at first. You may be accused of being heartless, of changing, of not being the same. But remember, you were not created to please others at the expense of yourself. When you stop playing the manipulator's game, you don't just break free, you make them lose the greatest power they've ever had, control over your mind. Part 4, Building Strong Inner Strength, not only to fight manipulation, but also to live more freely and stronger every day. After all the hurt, the lessons, and the realizations, the last thing you need is more than defense. You need to rebuild from within, not so that no one can hurt you again, but so that no matter who or what you face, you will not lose yourself. Inner strength, what Easterners call chi, Westerners call inner strength, doesn't come from hiding your emotions or from always appearing okay. It comes from being able to stand firm when you're feeling down. From not letting others dictate who you are, what you're worth, or how you should live in order to be loved. Inner strength is when you can say no without feeling guilty, when you can walk away without feeling angry, when you can be alone without feeling lonely. It's a form of freedom, not from the outside, but from within. And like all power, inner strength needs to be nurtured. Take some time each day to be alone, not to surf, not to escape, but to listen. Sit down, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how am I feeling today? What's troubling me? What am I grateful for? Just a few minutes a day will train you to go inward, a place no one can reach without your permission. Also, practice living by principles. People with inner strength have clear boundaries and values. They don't live to please everyone. They know what's right for them, and they dare to live by it. They don't change their stance just to be praised, or sacrifice themselves just to avoid conflict. They understand that if they keep trying to please everyone, they will eventually lose themselves. Don't wait until you're in a toxic relationship to learn to love yourself. Don't wait until you've been hurt to learn to build inner strength. Prepare in advance. Invest in your mind like you invest in stocks, steadily, patiently, and with the belief that its true value will increase over time. Read, journal, exercise, get enough sleep. Learn to talk to yourself like a good friend, not criticizing, not nagging, not putting down. Because the voice in your head is the one you'll be with all your life. And then one day, you will realize, criticism no longer confuses you. Temptations no longer control you. People who used to manipulate you will find they no longer have a pulse and a mind of their own. You will not become cold or emotionless, you will simply be you, undisturbed by the world. There will never be a lack of people in life who want to control you. But when you understand yourself enough, love yourself enough, and are strong enough from within, then no one can make you lose your way anymore. You will no longer have to live in fear of being abandoned. No longer have to sacrifice your self-esteem for love. No longer have to pretend to be okay for recognition. You will live authentically, live consciously, and live with an inner strength that will make anyone who wants to manipulate you back down. Strong conclusion plus call to action. You may have been manipulated. You may have lost yourself. But you don't have to be. Controlling your emotions isn't about being rigid or emotionless, it's about living a fuller, wiser, and freer life. And if you find this video touching, leave a comment, share your own story, or just like it to let the algorithm know you need more content like this. Don't forget to subscribe so we can see each other again in more insightful videos. Because you deserve to live a life that isn't manipulated, but is truly in control.